In this episode of Super Seicento, we clean, paint, screw, bolt and twist on our way to getting my car back on the road again. Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome back to Super Seicento, and today we are on our way back to the workshop to work on my car and continue to rebuild it and get it back on the road. But first I need to nip to the shops to get some supplies, but once I've got the stuff, let's go to the workshop and crack on. I need some paint because there's one detail that was on the Super Seicento that I ended up absolutely loving in the end, and to do it I need some paint, and that is in the broom yellow the car originally came in. So we're going to head over to Halford's and we're going to pick up some paint. All will be revealed. Much of today's focus will be on the front bumper. 15 years and over 100,000 miles of driving have taken their toll on the various fittings, so today I'm going to tidy it up. I start by attempting to unscrew the two front vents, but thanks to 15 years of road use rusting the screws in their sockets, no amount of screwdriver or WD-40 is going to budge them. The screws will get drilled out later, so for now I unbolt and remove the headlights. On the original shell I had the grills below the headlights painted body coloured, a small detail that I loved, so today I'm going to replicate that on this front bumper. I start by giving the grills and the bumper area around them a damn good clean before masking off any surrounding bumper. I've said it before and I'll say it again, you can never take too much time or care with paint prep. With protective paper taped over the surrounding bumper as well, it's onto the painting. I've done a full tutorial on painting plastic trims on your car and there is no difference here. 3 gradually heavier coats of primer onto a completely clean surface, being sure to cover each and every angle on each coat. Leave until touch dry and then it's onto the paint. Using the original Fiat broom yellow, I apply 4 increasingly heavy coats, building up from an initial dust coat. Once again, make sure you cover the entire surface uniformly on each coat for the best possible final finish. What's not very clear in this footage is how close the colour match is. The paint on the bumper is 15 years old, and despite the new paint obviously being brand new, the colour match is near perfect. After giving the grills the full yellow treatment and drying time, it's on to lacquer, and as this is the front of the car, the bit that's most exposed to weather, grit, rocks and dirt, I opt for 4 coats of gloss clear coat to protect them fully. With the final coat of lacquer left to dry before unmasking, there's some progress being made elsewhere on the car. We've also had some work done while I've been away, so for a start you can see the epic Team Hecko wind deflectors. They've gone on the doors on the new car, and round the back the rear bumper off the old car is on this new shell because frankly the paint was in much better condition, and obviously we want to use as much of the original as possible. And the tailgate is on because frankly trying to get the spoiler off of the tailgate would be a complete pig and probably leave an absolute ton of Sikaflex residue that we put on last time. So the tailgate from the old car has come over in its entirety, including the Mad Cento UK sticker, including the spoiler, and hopefully when the whole car's cleaned up, when it's finished, this will look even more awesome than it does now. But it's safe to say it's already taken shape. Speaking of taking shape, the freshly resprayed bonnet badge and mirrors look awesome and they're ready to go on the car. Once the adjuster stalk for the mirror has been threaded through the rubber grommet, the plastic surround trim is clipped in, and with my dad holding it lined up with the screw holes, 3 screws complete the reinstall of my now satin black door mirrors. That's it. How good does that look? Yeah. That's awesome. Really, really nice. The badge is slotted through some holes in the bonnet and a nut on the inside secures it in place, revealing that it too looks epic against the yellow bonnet. Meanwhile, the rusty screws on the faded and tatty front grills were drilled out. After a couple of hours cleaning and working on them, the grills are transformed and will be refitted to the bumper with new unrusty screws once the new unbroken fog lights arrive. The next thing I want to sort is the steering wheel, because truth be told, from the first day I drove my Seicento, one of the first things I noticed is that for such a small car, this steering wheel is huge. It's actually 350mm. Now that might not seem that big to those of you that have got 350mm wheels in quite big cars, but of course in a small car like this one, where you want to go from lock to lock really quickly, threading out of parking spaces and getting between traffic and all that kind of stuff, this is a battleship wheel. It's way too big. To remedy that, I've bought this, a 300mm steering wheel courtesy of Mountney. Now they didn't send it to me. This is not a sponsored video. This is just a really cool steering wheel. It's really good value, and it's a full 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters smaller than my stock one. And as you can see, it's going to be a lot smaller, a lot easier to get from lock to lock in town, and as a bonus, it's a bit more comfortable in the hand, and of course it looks way cooler. Installing an aftermarket wheel requires a Boss kit, which replaces your stock wheel and goes over the steering column shaft to adapt it to the standard 6 Allen headed bolt arrangement that most aftermarket wheels use. This mounty wheel looks awesome and will transform the look and feel of the interior. We start by disconnecting the battery, as failing to do this could mean that your airbag goes off during removal, or that the horn sticks on. Not quite as painful, but still not fun. Next, a plastic panel on each side of the back of the stock wheel is removed, exposing 4 total Allen headed bolts to undo. With those dealt with, the airbag is released, and once it's unplugged, can be removed completely, exposing the main nut that holds the wheel on. Crack and unscrew the nut, but leave it on the end of the thread. Give the wheel a wiggle and a couple of love taps and it should pull off. Taking the nut off beforehand is optional, and it's great if you fancy a steering wheel shaped dent in your face. Unplugging the horn wires means the big, ugly and heavy stock wheel can be lifted out. Then the install of the new wheel starts with the Boss kit. Make sure your front wheels are straight and insert the Boss onto the shaft with the top arrow at top dead centre, being careful to thread all the wires through without crushing them. Next, we crimp on new connectors for the horn wires and attempt to test the new horn button before permanent installation. If we've got this the wrong way round, the horn will stick on when the battery is connected. Please don't be permanent. Right, push it. Yes! Thankfully, the horn works perfectly, so the horn button, securing ring and steering wheel itself can be screwed onto the Boss. We replace a couple of the ultra soft headed screws that round it off just while being done up along the way. This last step is the most straightforward, but all I am going to say is if your aftermarket wheel has an included horn earth on it, just make sure that it doesn't earth out when you turn the wheel. That's all I'm going to say. The new steering wheel is fitted and looks mad, adding a sportier, more purposeful feel to the cabin. Now it's back to the front of the car to unmask the now dry headlight grills. As I said before, try to unmask by pulling away from the fresh paint to ensure that you don't damage it, and in this case you'll reveal some brilliant results. That's a really, considering that is, what, 15-year-old? Yeah. And that is brand new, that's a really good colour. The colour match is awesome, especially when combined with refitted headlights and the now black bonnet badge, giving a very satisfying end to day 2 of the rebuild. That brings to an end another day rebuilding the Super Seicento, and just to recap what we've done today, cleaned and painted the headlight grills in the same broom yellow as the rest of the car, which it must be said looks just as awesome on this shell as it did on the old one. I've also reinstalled my custom satin black painted door mirrors and bonnet badge, as well as this awesome new smaller steering wheel, which even just sitting still in the car now feels awesome. It's so much nicer in the hand than that massive battleship wheel the car comes with, and combined with the kind of buckety WRX seats, this smaller steering wheel, just, I'm ready to go. I want to drive this now. This feels awesome, and hopefully that driving experience that I'm desperate for so badly will be coming very, very soon. I'm sorry this episode has been more kind of little picky bits than last time. It's just gradually improving the car bit by bit and inching it forward. Now the reason for that is next time the big stuff is coming, and you know what I mean when I say that. The big stuff in getting the Super Seicento rebuilt and back on the road starts next episode, and if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified when the next episode of Super Seicento is released. But for now, thanks very much for watching everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. See you soon, and have a good one. Next time on Super Seicento.